Good evening. When news of Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account being hacked broke late last night, the Twitter trolls had a field day at the Congress Vice President's expense. But to most people in the country, net savvy or not, this development coming bang in the middle of a huge digital push by the government, an ambitious drive to park most of the country's wealth on a digital platform. It raised several serious questions and apprehensions that the Congress party duly raised. Not just the Congress party, but cyber experts who've been crying hoarse about the laxity of cybercrime laws and their practical implementation in this country in an age when the US election came under so much scrutiny because of the possibility of Russian hackers targeting Hillary Clinton, a former senator and a Secretary of State. In an age where WikiLeaks and leaked cables are almost everyday events, in an era where groups of hackers bent on disrupting status quo can target governments as powerful as the United States, Britain and Germany. Many are rightly concerned about the safety and the transparency of digitizing one's money, and they're justified. But this story has also morphed into a subtextual political battle, with the Congress leaving nobody in doubt as to who might be behind this. At the same time, the BJP also subtextually suggesting that this is a self-sabotage to discredit the digitization drive launched by the government to aid the demonetization aftermath, where the success could lie in the large-scale acceptance and the use of digital payment platforms by a large majority of Indians, especially in rural India. Rahul Gandhi, ladies and gentlemen, is back on Twitter and has chosen to kill his detractors, the hackers who targeted him, or haters as he called them, with kindness, saying he loves them despite their hate for him. But the incident has given birth to some extremely worrying signs. We debate the political tonight on The Nation at 9. First, take a look at the facts of the story.
Bedlam broke loose in just a few minutes as the hackers struck at 8:40 p.m. yesterday. First, it was Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account. Next, around 10 a.m., the cyber strike was on Congress's Twitter account. Both accounts have been restored successfully, but has fueled yet another political slugfest. Amidst debate over demonetization, Congress mocked Prime Minister Modi's Digital India vision. Trashing Digital India, Congress asked, if government cannot assure digital security, then how will India become a cashless economy?
It exposes the weaknesses of the cyber security as also the digital payments network. Is this the real truth of Digital India? This is something that Modi ji needs to ponder over.
The Congress party is presenting it as if it is such a major issue, perhaps designed to mislead the extraordinary support to Digital India, digital cash and cashless initiative of the Modi government.
It's a highly condemnable act. We condemn it in fullest measure. Beyond that, I don't think this kind of act deserves elaborate reaction.
ये सवाल डिजिटल इंडिया पे नहीं करता, जो कानून है 2000 से बने, 2004 के बाद भी उसमें संशोधन हुए और ये पूरा सुरक्षा सबको मिलनी चाहिए डिजिटल।
हम उस मामले को उठाना चाहते थे, लेकिन जब राहुल जी से इस बात का हमने जिक्र किया तो बोले कि नहीं, उसके लिए पार्लियामेंट का इस्तेमाल करना ठीक नहीं है।
The incident of hacking of the Twitter account of Rahul Gandhi under the Congress party is a cyber crime and must be dealt with in accordance with the law.
But the BJP on its part has obviously gone ahead and defended and said that the moment this was told to them, they've taken every possible step to ensure that these accounts of these Congress men are restored at the earliest. But at the same time, they in fact warned the Congress that they should understand the larger mood of the people and not try to divert attention by these useless tactics.
Keeping the hacking menace aside, the mega political fight is now over the vision of a cashless economy. While India progresses along with other bigger economies, is the Congress right in sabotaging the digital progress? Shouldn't our netas unite and safeguard the digital progress in the interest of the nation? Bureau Report, News X.
Many questions raised by that report, some of whom I'm going to address. Amit Malviya tonight, spokesperson, BJP. Joining us from Delhi, also with us is Pavan Duggal. He's a cyber law expert. He's joining us from Delhi as well. Kalikesh Singh Deo, MP, Member of Parliament in the Lok Sabha from the BJD, is also on the panel, and completing the panel, Dr. Ajay Kumar, the national spokesperson of the Congress Party. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with me. Let me just start off, because here's a clear quote from one of the Congress's spokespersons, Mr. Amit Malviya. It is quite clear that BJP has resources behind them, them being the hackers, which is not just university students having fun. That's Shashi Tharoor, MP in the Lok Sabha. And the subtextual messaging seriously here, although I would tell you it is muted from the reaction of the Congress Party as well, seems to be it's a political ploy to deliberately denigrate their leader. Amit.
Audio.
I don't think Amit can hear me right now, so let's go to a neutral party in this fight then.
The irresponsible
Kalikesh has
handling
also
of
joined
Rahul.
us. Yes, Mr. Malviya, please go ahead.
Audio. Athar, the irresponsible handling of Rahul Gandhi's and the Indian National Congress Party's account can't be a reason to question the cyber security and the laws surrounding that in India, because Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account is not really what cyber security or digital economy is all about. But having said that, I quite find it amusing that Congress, instead of trying to restore the account that had been compromised, went on building a narrative saying that this was all about the digital push of the government. I don't know how the two are related. Rahul Gandhi is certainly not India, and India isn't Rahul Gandhi. They should be disabused of this notion and start believing that trying to derail a very popular people's movement is going to backfire on the Congress.
Mr. Malviya, I mean, you're the one who started linking it. I wasn't even going in that direction. But since you mentioned it, I'm sure there is more to cybersecurity than a Twitter account being hacked. But just for the record, is it also an invalid query really, or an apprehension that transparency and security from fraud, at least in transactions, not necessarily related to Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account being broken, but cybercrime generally is a big concern, and 30,000 websites are hacked every day around the world. We live in an era where Hillary Clinton can be targeted by suspect is a big concern, and 30,000 websites are hacked every day around the world. We live in an era where Hillary Clinton can be targeted by suspected Russian hackers, and 4,000 sites in India are hacked every day. So I think, can we just rubbish the larger apprehension here so easily?
Athar, the digital payment ecosystem has been around for a while. You've had MasterCard, you've had Visa, you've had digital settlements, you have your payment network that work on digital. So it's not as if the ecosystem wasn't there, but it was a small ecosystem. The government's push is really to now get a lot of people to accept it, a lot of people to embrace it. Having said that, you are absolutely right. The hackers are always going to be one step ahead of those who are going to build systems and build the protection and the safeguard. But does that mean we do not do something which is important? It's like saying that because you have accidents on the road in motor vehicles, let's not use motor vehicles, or let's not get on the highways.
So you are
That's
clear
not
on
how
this.
we work. We have to recognize the challenges, and we have to do everything possible to secure.
So Ajay Kumar, Mr. Malviya is clear on this. The charge or the subtextual charge that the BJP might be behind really this hacking, and going back to the main story of Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account being hacked. Do you believe that this is a fair assumption by the government? I mean, the theory of self-sabotage just to make the big drive for digital India look bad, does it serve you any purpose? That's the subtextual question I am asking, and that's the overt question Mr. Malviya is asking you tonight.
Look, the BJP suffers from fantasies and, propaganda. So that's the whole story about it. Now, somebody will go into the INC account, put very objectionable stuff into Mr. Office of RG's account, and we want to self-sabotage ourselves. This is the kind of nonsense even Goebbels will be proud of, the Nazi propaganda expert. Coming to so the issue is very clear, is who hacked it. It had most of the issues were Indian context, it was political context. So people, whether they are from the BJP, RSS mindset, we are not saying they did it, but the mindset was very clear. They're targeting the Congress, and that was, if you look at the tweets which were posted, it was to denigrate somebody, it was hurtful, and it was purely in Indian context. So They cannot conveniently say somebody
But
from
it could have
Croatia or
been
somebody,
anyone,
if it
sir.
was an
It could
Indian
have
guy,
been
whether
anyone.
they know about
That's
it, but the issue
contention
is,
here. Hackers don't
Well,
necessarily have to
it
belong
could
to
have
a
been anyone,
political
Athar.
dispensation.
It could have been anyone, and I
Hackers are
said that.
known to disrupt. Hackers are known to be anarchic.
It can, absolutely. Absolutely. So my only question is, since the ideology seemed to be and the attacks were pretty personal, so suspicion is that with same ideology at least, but the issue is the government is in power. They're supposed to be a 56-inch chess government. Let them find. But I was hearing with great interest what Amit was saying. Recently, in the month of September, in the month of October, there were 32 lakh debit card accounts hacked. We have I mean, in fact, to make it all bittersweet, even my account in the RBL bank was hacked.
No, I'll bear you out there. Ajay Kumar, I mentioned this earlier today.
Issue at all.
I mentioned the SBI HDFC hack earlier today in my program, and that of course also relates to my valid question on cybersecurity. But Kalikesh Singh Deo, coming back to cybercrime per se, and we've all seen cybercrime happen. It's a very convenient and very common sight across the world in this day and age. So that, of course, those fears are well taken. But do you believe the politicization really of someone as high profile as Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account being hacked, it does put a question mark, a little doubt really, on the entire idea behind parking most of one's wealth or money on a digital platform, because hackers are smart, they're suave, if they can attack governments like the United States, hackers can get anywhere.
You're right. I'm not going to delve into the entire tutu meme and conspiracy theories of the BJP and the Congress.
That's a welcome relief.
Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account. I can tell you that we as a nation, are not completely prepared just in terms of technology and security at the moment to combat the hackers who are generally one step ahead of developed nations. And when we are trying to bring a large part of the population onto the digital platform, I think it's pertinent that we just don't talk about laws, but also its implementation and the technology behind the entire thought process to ensure that our accounts and our data are secure and safe. And that's where the government comes in. The government needs to put money and resources in to ensure that this is there. Otherwise, people will not have the confidence. And these are people who don't have the best internet connectivity, best telephones, and they have probably weak operating systems to begin with.
No, absolutely. That's a very logic-based response, Amit Malviya. Before I go to Mr. Duggal, who's the cyber expert on the panel, would you like to respond to what Kalikesh has just said? I think he's made some extremely important points here.
I mean, I don't think I disagree with Kalikesh at all. We have to, as a country, invest in our infrastructure, in our technology, in security, in upgrading our cyber laws. It's an ongoing process. Well, the limited point that I'm making is that we've had a digital payment infrastructure in this country for a long time. We have been integrated with the world on our payment mechanism. If you look at some of the leading exchange and card companies, we've had an electronic clearing mechanism in this country for a very long time, which is probably far advanced than what it is in most of the developed countries. But does that mean? But does that mean that we should not progress because we fear that something adverse might happen?
Okay, Pavan Duggal is also with me right now. Numerous attempts, Mr. Duggal, have been made already to break into the Baba Atomic Research Centers in 2010. A Pakistani hacker group hacked into the Central Bureau of Investigation website. These are all on record, and there are many such others. Like I said before, 4,000 websites in India are hacked every day. So the cyber community, the hacker community really is 2 steps ahead, and this seems to be motivated really. The kind of content they put it out there, Rahul Gandhi being the political figure that there is. We had this conversation when this news broke last night at 9 o'clock, Mr. Duggal. I would like to enumerate what we talked about yesterday, because I have a feeling that the people need to know what we spoke about. It's very important in the context of the digital age and India entering it. Mr. Duggal.
Well, what really began as just a small hacking on the Twitter account of the prominent politician Mr. Gandhi, today culminated into a much bigger hacking attack into the Twitter handle of the political party.
Yes.
So the bigger picture emerging is very, very strong. I think these are not incidental or coincidental hackings that have taken place. There is a stronger message that's emerging. and the message that hackers want to give, not just to political class, but even to India as a nation is, hey India, you're going the digital way, are you prepared for cyber security? And I think the incidents, even though high profile, need to be starting up as wake-up calls for India. Because as we are now going on into the cashless digital economy wave, it's very, very important that we should be able to address the expectations, fears and aspirations of people as a whole. People want to go digital, there's no doubt. Digital is the present and will definitely be the future. But the question is, as a nation, are we prepared? The answer is that the requisite legal frameworks are missing. Today, if my digital wallet gets compromised or my money goes out of my bank account, I can go run around circles for years and the bank is not going to return that money back to me. And there is no redress mechanism available for the consumer. So while we have to concentrate on cyber security, in fact, there are three paradigms which are important.
We spoke about
cyber law,
of course, also
cyber
being
crime,
slightly
and
behind.
cyber
I want to
security.
come back to that, Mr. Duggal, as well. But before that, very quickly before that, now I also want to explore the subtext I spoke about earlier. And is this hitting confidence, Ajay Kumar, according to you and the Congress party? Because you seem to be suggesting it is hitting confidence in not just the banking system, but also it raises several questions. Mr. Surjewala today came out in no uncertain terms, said this raises many questions about whether or not India is ready. He in fact says, Sabko Sammati De Bhagwan's free speech and right to disagree is under attack by lumpen fascists in the country. He of course referred to some ideology behind the hackers as well. Do you think this has hit confidence?
No, I just want to ask you a question, Atar. Let's imagine Mr. Modi's Twitter account was hacked for a minute. Would that
yes, but the counter is that the Prime Minister's office maintains his account much better than Mr. Rahul Gandhi can. It's professionally managed, it's professionally run.
No. First question is, this is also again a myth. I mean, let's imagine that it is done. So I'm saying, you know, we shouldn't speak too soon in life. I mean, you have umpteen examples saying that, you know, somebody, Pakistan is an anesthesia and then they go and attack us. So I'm not going to get into that kind of discussion, that we are better maintained and then, you know, and if they are, more power to them.
Let's discuss
the question is very simple, that if somebody attacks a Twitter account of a prominent person, and if it happens, won't it lead to lack of confidence? The question is, if somebody attacks Mr. Rahul Gandhi or the Indian National Congress's accounts, obviously the people in the country will also raise this question, why is a Twitter account of a prominent person, and if it happens, won't it lead to lack of confidence? The question is, if somebody attacks Mr. Rahul Gandhi or the Indian National Congress's accounts, obviously the people in the country will also raise this question, why is it happening, how is it happening? But the most important part, which the BJP and I think Amit ji should answer is, they have all the power and, you know, all the authority and the strength of the government behind. If they are not able to locate these people in a very reasonable period of time, and we are not saying, you know, 24 hours or 48 hours, then there'll be doubts raised, one, that either they are phenomenally incompetent and or they are phenomenally involved with these guys. So they either they find these people, because it will smack of monumental incompetence.
Dr.
If they can't catch.
Subramaniam Swamy has gone on record saying this is done by the dissatisfied people, dissatisfied people with whom Mr. Rahul Gandhi has misbehaved. The people already knew the code, have done this, and not any outsiders.
Okay, so this is very interesting. So now, even if that is the case, imagine Mr. Subramaniam Swamy, and I don't know what he was smoking when he said that.
No, I'm sorry, no personal comments, sir. Ajay Kumar, there is no need for that, and I will not have it. You have to take that back. You have to take that back right away.
I'm saying...
No, please.
Okay, so let's move it.
No, he's not here to defend himself.
I take that back.
This is not fair.
I took it back. Okay, I apologize for that.
Good, let's note
I said that, Atar... I said that, I took it back, I apologize. The fact.
Okay.
Now the question is for Amit and the team and the BJP, and I really request that whatever be whoever is involved, whoever is responsible for this, they need to show that the is got, because if you're not able to find...
Okay, so the government says it's working on it. The cybercrime cell Delhi police has filed the report.
With your NTRO, they need to catch these
guys.
guys.
Amit Malviya, respond. Amit Malviya will respond.
My question, Atar, is...
Okay. Go ahead with the question, then he'll respond.
Atar,
one second, let him ask the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Ajay Kumar.
So my question... Yeah, now my question is, my question, and Amit, I believe, heads the IT cell. The question is, if there is such a high-profile attack, it is mandated for the government, for the political system, to find and go to the root cause, and it is in their advantage. Because the fact is the government cannot say that, listen, because whoever is guilty, and if we are not able to expose them, the rest of the people in this country will say, look, does our government know how to track cyber criminals? If they cannot catch these guys in this kind of a case, what about the rest of Indians? So it is a case which is worthwhile their time
Okay,
to
fair enough. Let him
focus
answer
and
now.
implement and bring
Now
them to
Amit will
justice.
answer.
And I hope that there is a lot of wisdom in the government on this issue.
Let him answer
to
now. Go
ensure
ahead,
that.
Amit.
Athar, the BJP has a very prominent social media presence. We are miles ahead of the Congress and the rest of the gang as far as the presence on digital medium is concerned. We regularly engage with the likes of Facebook and Twitter. And since it is a matter of Twitter, let me tell you that Twitter is absolutely clear that they have a very secure platform, and something like this could not have happened as a result of hacking. And this is probably a case of these accounts being compromised. It is a disgruntled insider who's probably done this, and that is how it has happened. Now, if the Congress believes otherwise, it is for them to go file a complaint. The law will take its course. But what is quite intriguing is that the Congress party, which uses the parliament for just about anything to corner the government, in this particular instance chose to stay away from the parliament and not raise this, knowing fully well that they are in a very weak spot, and if the matter goes beyond a certain red line and beyond the politicking that the Congress is today trying to do and muddy waters, and conflate his account being hacked with Digital India, they are going to be in trouble.
I would say asked and answered, Ajay Kumar, asked and answered.
Athar, I can't imagine how ridiculous is this.
No,
one said,
the man
Mr.
gave
Gandhi
you
said,
his
"I don't
hypothesis.
want
The
because
man
it's an
said that there
issue
is
which
reason
should
to
not take
believe.
the time of the parliament." And one sec, let me complete. Can I complete?
Sure.
I understood your question, so let me complete. Here is the Congress Vice President saying there are other issues which are critical for this country. We have filed, by the way, Amit, we have filed a case already. So just a little to keep you are the most digital party, but I think some of this, FIR information has been lost in translation. The fact is that the Congress Vice President did not want to spend the time of the parliament on issues which he said was not as important right now as the issues which are facing it. We filed an FIR, but we said that the issues, forget his hacking on our account, we are back. The issue is, are the accounts safe, and is it correct? I think Amit should answer that the 32 lakh debit cards which are compromised, cases were registered. We have no idea about what's happened in the past 2 months, and that's a huge number. So we would request the government, and he's the spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, at some time, let us know what happened on that. And on this issue, we are saying that even if it was their allegations, their fancy and their stories, leave it aside, a case has been filed, and if the government doesn't take action, then there is a grave deal of either it's incompetent or it's in connivance. And I would rather wish and pray that the government proves us wrong.
I just want to, I feel I'll give Amit the chance to respond at the end of the debate, but I want to quickly rifle through getting last comments from Kalikesh, and I have a specific question for him also, Mr. Duggal. Kalikesh, now experts have opined after this happened yesterday, and I consider you and I to be fairly net savvy. We're not being IT geniuses, but we are of the generation that's very comfortable with computers and software and the likes. Now, the potential of this hack it can either be a potential backdoor malware being present on a computer system, or this can be a long persistent targeted attack, spear phishing they call it in most cases, on the political party. In either case, experts believe there is certainly more data in the hands of the hackers than they've just released. They've threatened a Christmas special as well. Are we entering into a new age of political attacks?
Possibly so. I wouldn't put it past hackers who are sympathetic to political parties, who can play that role, or who are just mischievous and want to create trouble. I mean, the 31 lakh debit cards which were hacked in India was a result in some cases of people putting machines at the back of the ATM installation and copying the data of the debit card and the password and then replicating that to take money out. So as you know, hackers are always 2 steps ahead, and we really have to beef up our system, especially if we have to make sure that the majority of our transactions go digital. I don't know what to do. If I get hacked, I really don't know what to do. I don't know what the security is. I don't know what the insurances are. I don't know what the laws around the banks reimbursing me, if that's the case. So there are many gray areas and many points which are missing. I think this must be spelled out to instill confidence in the people.
Absolutely. And I'll ask Mr. Malviya whether or not the government is prepared to handle that kind of traffic, if you will, in net terms. And this is coming from a fairly net-savvy parliamentarian, of course. These are valid concerns. But before I do that, Pavan Duggal, you heard Kalike Singh Deo list out the practical problems and challenges that we are going to face if we are entering a digital era, which by all accounts, at least we are trying to right now. I mean, what else must the government do to make sure that this does not become the order of the day when it comes to politics? Because this is a new age, a new era, a new way, really. It could influence political outcomes, as many suspect did in the US elections recently concluded.
Surely, cyber crimes are going to be playing a much bigger field today as time passes by. And they are not just only going to target the political class. Yes, political wars will be fought on online spaces, on social media platforms, but more significantly, cybercrime as a service parties against their political opponents, more so with now more and more Indians going on to the darknet, where it's almost well nigh impossible to try to trace back the origin of such attacks. But forget about the political class for a minute. I am more concerned about the common man in India. It's the common man in India that's going to be targeted by increasing cybercrime. As more and more amount of money gets pushed into the banking network, cyber criminals are very, very happy. They want to ensure that all their efforts would now be concentrated on these banking networks. So I think the lessons that have to be learned is all stakeholders have to contribute.
So Pavan Duggal, in one line, before I go to Amit Malviya for the rejoinder, you don't think this is scaremongering if you talk about the need to be prepared to tackle hacking and hackers in the future?
Not at all. It's a ground reality. In fact, the figures that you were talking of, the cases being reported, are only a minuscule portion of what's actually happening. The ground reality position is far more worse. So it's high time that we as a nation started getting face to face with the ground reality, rather than running away from it. And on top of it, actually get all the more Indians
both Ajay Kumar's question and
started getting face to face with the ground reality, rather than running away from it. And on top of it, actually get all the more Indians
both Ajay Kumar's question and Kalikesh's concerns. So Amit Malviya, I'm going to give you full 45 seconds to address both issues here.
Athar, the concerns that have been raised by Kalikesh are quite genuine, and it is quite important for people who are now getting onto digital platforms new, for them to understand what it means, what it entails. It is also for the experts to look at the banking sector, the regulation, look at, get the RBI to take a fresh look at the agreements that are there, the customer agreements that are there, and see whether it adequately protects the interests of the individual who's taking on these channels. My submission is that we have already done so. The banking industry has laws around this. The financial institutions are regulated either through the RBI or through the SEBI or through other agencies that regulate such agencies. But if there is a room for improvement, if there is a changing cyber situation in the country, or if there is a technology advancement, then that has to be constantly built in. And that's where cyber experts like Mr. Duggal and others come into play. It's a constant process.
But the cyber cell also has to nail these hackers. Otherwise,
we have to be on the cutting edge of technology.
And Ajay Kumar will keep asking that question. Unless these hackers are nailed, that question hangs in the air, and I think that's a fair assessment.
Athar, I would go, Athar, no, but I would go even a step forward. It is about policing, and I think we as a nation have to think about modernizing our police forces. We have to include cybercrime as an important stream in our policing. We need to create
like
more,
Mr. Duggal said,
police officers and people who can do this effectively and are constantly at the edge of the thing.
All right, Mr. Malviya, thank you for joining us. And I believe Vajay Kumar and Kalikesh, as well as Mr. Duggal, raised some very important points. The government needs a lot of homework to be done, really, on policing cybercrime. Of course, Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account being hacked is just proof that anything digital is always susceptible to hacking, but there can be safeguards that can be put into place. Of course, this case will determine much of the confidence factor that we spoke about earlier. Thank you for joining us, all you gentlemen. We'll take a very short break right now, and we'll come back after 30 seconds, and we have another very important issue to discuss at hand. Stay tuned.